In a world full of reboots and multiversal calamities, sometimes it's hard to remember things correctly, or honestly, what canon they even happened. I'll make my point in case by asking you a singular question. Who exactly challenged the Justice League for the first time? Was it Darkseid rolling up on Earth with the intent to conquer it? Was it the White Martians attacking our planet for the first time? Or, wait, no, wasn't it during the events of World War II whenever the entire Justice League came together to fight Hitler? Well, in all actuality, the first villain the Justice League fought was way back in time during the events of The Brave and the Bold in issue 28 in 1960. I found myself revisiting this comic after seeing Hal Jordan in the Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1 cartoon get disrespected and not even included in the original founding of the Justice League.
I'm already on a team. It's called the Green Lantern Corps. I'll pass.
I wanted to see how it formed, and well, it's definitely not what you remember or honestly what you've heard. In this specific era of comics, things were so wacky and ridiculous, I had to make an entire video on this specific comic itself. You'll never guess how the Justice League overcomes their first enemy, Starro the Conqueror. What's up guys, it's me LumosTheromax, and today we discuss the first battle that the Justice League ever had against Starro the Conqueror and its hilarious ending. Be sure to like and subscribe as it really helps the channel grow, and maybe even consider becoming a member on the channel, as these guys are the homies who you can see here that directly and continuously sponsor me and help the side feature content just like this video as well. Let's keep the ball rolling on this OG Justice League content though, and see exactly where we're going with this. So Starro is actually a pretty wild character. In fact, even in this comic, he actually has some pretty bangers. Take for example the fact that Starro is a monster from the beyond that travels billions of miles across interstellar space to get to Earth to blow it up. Here on Earth, Starro finds 3 starfish that he thinks might be distant relatives of his and decides to have them help him conquer the planet. Starro amps them with his energies into basically being the original version of Cell Jr. way back in 1960. Aquaman sees this, shits himself, and says, yo, we gotta pull together the League. Since Aquaman summoned the League, everybody meets up at their very, very nicely looking cave. I don't know why we spent so much time focusing on that. But they basically all agree, yo, this Starro figure is pretty messed up. We're gonna have to do something about this guy. So they monitor basically the entire northern hemisphere to make sure that he's not wildin', especially with these new minions of it. Now, of course, it's your homie Green Lantern who rolls in one of the Starro the Conqueror's minions first. And these Starro the Conqueror's minions are basically just like really big trolls. And this one rolled up to specifically an aircraft with intent to steal the nuclear bomb that was out of it. So Green Lantern Hal Jordan basically fights off this mini version of Starro, the Cell Jr. version of Starro, and tries to keep this atom bomb away from him. And we'll get to why an atom bomb a little bit later. It'll make sense, I promise. So in this battle, this atom bomb basically blows up on Hal Jordan, but he still keeps swinging, man. He tanks the blast and then keeps rolling after this version of Starro, who's throwing all sorts of atomic blasts and lances at him. But no version of Starro is a match for classic Hal Jordan, at least in terms of his henchmen. And of course, Hal Jordan beats the shit out of him, shrinking him down into the original starfish that he was, because, I don't know, that's something Hal Jordan could just do back in the day. Meanwhile, Martian Manhunter and Wonder Woman battle another of Starro's henchmen at the Hall of Science, where it tries to drain all of the brain power of the smartest people in the Northern Hemisphere. They do manage to fight him for a pretty considerable amount of time, and Martian Manhunter even blows an entire meteor storm at this henchman of Starro, but it manages to tank it and just keep rolling. So they pretty much take, I think, honestly, between the two of them, either comparable, even longer time than Hal Jordan did to take care of his. But whenever they do overpower it, it does not shrink back to its original size like Hal Jordan's. Clearly showing Hal Jordan's just got hacks, man. It's some pretty wild stuff. And as they manage to deal with that specific henchman, Barry Allen the Flash runs into the next version of one of Starro's henchmen, one of those starfish, and he's rolled up to Happy Harbor with intent to control every single person in the entire harbor's minds, okay? In the Flash, of course, is running through trying to save everyone he can, but everyone here is mind hacks besides one guy. He manages to save that one guy and sets him aside before continuing his attack, spinning it via whirlwinds, forcing it to retreat into the water. Vibrating incredibly fast and running across the water, Barry Allen runs so fast that he throws all the water aside, allowing him to see even Starro's minion at the bottom of this small river and or lake. As a result, he finally lunges against the minion, beating it up. He decides to bring the man he has with him for his notable psychic resistance, as that seems pretty abnormal. No human should be able to deny the mind hacks of a being like Starro, right? And now we finally enter to the original Starro who had showed up in the first place. OG Starro was pretty wild. Not only could he use atomic lances for attacks, as I had stated earlier, but he also enjoys bathing in atomic energies. So this version of Starro figures, why not mind hack the world leaders into dropping all of their atom bombs to eliminate all the dumb humans, and also get an amp at the exact same time? Then he can conquer the universe. Yo, he doesn't have a mustache, but I swear I can hear him twiddling it right now. But before he can enact his plans, the Justice League retaliates. Starro attempts to mind hack Green Lantern, but Green Lantern manages to resist his attempts. But only after Starro manages to read his mind of the weaknesses that he had. Starro then changes his color, making himself immune to the Green Lantern's abilities, since in this era Green Lanterns were weak to the color yellow. The battle continues on, but Barry realizes that the man he saved earlier still isn't affected by Starro's mind hack's attacks. The Flash then chooses to relay that information to Green Lantern and asks him to use his ring to check why this specific guy was immune to all the abilities of Starro, while Martian and Manhunter and Wonder Woman managed to hold off Starro for a short amount of time. Using this spectroscope on this specific guy, his spectrum reveals nothing unusual besides spectroscopic lines for calcium, more specifically calcium oxide, commonly known as lime. As it turns out, he was liming his lawn today, which I'll assume is an expression for somebody doing something in terms of lawn care that's been lost to time. And even Barry Allen knows, for some reason, that oystermen use quicklime to fight starfish who prey on oysters in the sea. Since Starro is a giant starfish, he too logically should be weak to lime, and that explains this specific guy's immunity to Starro's abilities. Green Lantern then immediately grabs tons of lime from a nearby farm, saying he will pay the farmers later for their lime, and he dumps it all on top of Starro, causing him to writhe out in pain. While Green Lantern lands his limey assault, the Flash runs to a chemical warehouse and returns immediately with more lime for the Justice League to use. Together with Martian Manhunter's super breath, they blow a lime storm at Starro until an unbreakable shell of lime forms on Starro, killing him instantaneously. And if you doubt me here, yo, this guy literally says at the end that this is the end of Starro and his conquest of Earth. This kid, just for helping out, was given an honorary membership to the Justice League for liming his lawn that day, okay? His name is Snapper because he snaps his fingers. I'm not even kidding. I wish I was making this up. This could only exist in this era of comics. But there you have it. Starro the Conqueror was canonically defeated by lime. Yeah, that's right, by actual lime. And honestly, I don't know which is worse. This, or the way Starro was defeated in Suicide Squad 2. I mean, being rat level was pretty rough, though at least it was like, I don't know, the Justice League using super breath here in order to kind of like put Starro down rather than just like one rat chick. Even if it was like kind of silly in terms of how they did it. It's a good thing Starro has gotten way more respect as time has gotten on, because like, yo, this was like low-key actually disrespectful. They just kill him and just kind of leave him there. Ha! But there's many different versions of Starro for a reason, all across the universe and even outside of it in small pockets. So, I don't know, Starro lore is really interesting stuff. If you guys really like Starro and videos on him or content like this, be sure to like and subscribe. If this video gets 100 likes, I'll do a video on, who knows, maybe my favorite Starro moment outside of this, like my favorite serious Starro moment, because he actually has like a bunch of really big things. But did you know that the first time Starro was defeated by the League, it was via just lime? Later, Lanterns.
corrupting and creating events that affect the entire verse was the only way she theorized to decimate her source wall curse, and so she whispered madness to her child, the Anti-Monitor, driving him towards his revenge on his brother, the Monitor. A crisis on infant Earths is what he decided to grant, but her children were